Wilson Morales from Black Film TV. Hey guys, how's it going?
What's up,
What's up,
Wilson?
bruh? How you
Hey,
doing?
we're finally here. People are getting ready to see these series, these episodes. Coming into this, Aldis, what did you want to do for the character outside of what the script called for and from what people have seen on film?
Um, so I knew that because of how the script was written, we were automatically doing something different and refreshing. So I hadn't, and as just in general practice, I don't recount any prior iterations of anything. I step into something with a clean slate, so it wasn't a consideration of mine. And when it came to how I wanted to portray this character, I just looked for his why and for what his honest intentions were
Hmm.
behind what motivated him, right? So with that, all I wanted to do was make this character as full on screen as he already was on the page. And that was really my only focus in terms of I didn't really say, okay, he's this kind of person. We find it. And
Hmm.
in conversations that Ben and I had prior, talking about who we were individually and where we were at in our lives, that fed how the character was built out. So I just wanted to play the honesty as much as possible. And let him live and breathe on his own because this is an evolution of what people know and think about the
Hmm.
cross
Hmm.
world. So it is unto itself wholly new.
Hmm.
Ben, are we getting are the series based on the books? Is that what we're getting? Like you're taking one of the books and then making it into a series? And if so, are we getting, from those who have read the Cross novels, or will they see what they've read in Aldous?
Oh wow, that's a great question.
Yeah.
Well, okay, so the first answer is the mystery in season one is wholly new,
Yeah.
wholly created by me and our incredible writing staff.
That's right. Take
And
your
and
credit, bro.
and
Talk your stuff, bro.
we
Let them
really
know.
we really wanted to. We really wanted to love all of the books in the Alex Cross series, and there's obviously a lot of fertile ground there. But I started thinking about crafting a story that could reflect the themes and topics that are prominent in this day and age. And I wanted the
Okay.
flexibility of being able to do that. And so I decided the best way to do that would be to create our own mysteries. No, even though that's a lot of pressure because you got to live
Mhm.
up to the reputation of the book series. So we did that, and I talked to James Patterson about that. And I thought, I wasn't sure how he was going to react, and he was actually very excited about that
Mhm.
prospect. And I think he said it perfectly. We deliver on the characters and the world that the Alex Cross series created, but we give the fans a whole new story to dig into. Now, when fans dig in, if you are have read the books, you will see a lot of nods to the mythology of the Alex Cross series.
Mhm.
Obviously, the characters, obviously the characters are there. You also get some Easter eggs. So for the
Mhm.
real diehard fans, they're gonna pick up on these little breadcrumbs and Easter eggs that we've planted in season one that we intend to pay off as the series go on,
Mhm.
if we're fortunate enough to get multiple seasons. Now we already know we got a second season, but
So,
we got plans for a while.
yeah.
So we hope to be able to really pay homage to the series throughout the life of of our show.
I want to say congrats. Obviously, season two spells confidence, and that's what gets people going. Obviously, we've seen other shows only do one season and they're gone. So to know that this has been given a season two without even airing an episode yet, that spells confidence not only for both of you guys, for the whole crew, because job stability
Hmm.
as
Hmm.
well. It
And that's
sells.
and it's well deserved because they're just as responsible for our partners feeling that good about the show. You can't really make something that resonates with people at that level unless everybody's pulling that weight. Because some people they show up, they just want to punch the clock and go home.
Yeah.
Our crew, our cast, our producers, our team, everybody showed up and poured their heart and soul into it. And I think
Absolutely.
that was the reason that Amazon responded so favorably and said, "Hey, let's keep this train moving."
Mhm.
Congrats to you both. Let's get it going. Obviously, I know I'll talk to you down the road. Take care,
Yeah.
guys.
Thank you,
See
man.
you, Wilson.
Peace.
Wilson Morales from Black Film TV. Hello, how's it going?
Wilson, I have been waiting to meet you, honey. Good to meet you. Happy to be here.
Hey, it's good to see you in the series. Obviously, you're the character that hopefully we'll see again. But what went into saying yes to taking on this role?
Say that one more time.
What went into saying yes to taking on this project?
I mean, as soon as I read it, I was like, oh, I'm not just on the wall or on the side here or just the love interest. You know, there was a depth, a richness, a complexity that Ben and his team had written that really told me it was important that as a pillar to the cross family, I upheld parts of him.
Now, is this a character that's based on the books, or is this a newly created character for the series?
This is newly created for the series.
Okay, so then when you take on a role like this and you think about the character you're playing, I like to think there's got to be something in that character trait that, represents you. What would that be?
That represents me. I think a love for people. Definitely that is, if I could have a slogan or on my tombstone, that she loved people well.
Mhm. You're working opposite Aldis, and obviously, there's a chemistry there. What did you guys do to establish a chemistry so that we, the audience, can buy into it as we're watching the series?
Yeah, no, and I love this question because I really do believe at its core, intimacy is really just transparency. It's two people saying, giving consent to a journey of truth and saying, I will happily reflect you if you happily reflect me. And then there's no time spent or wasted in breaking down walls. It's like really just two people entering as open as they can be with all of the flaws, with all of the brokenness that we all have. And so we share in that together, and there's no judgment. There is just acceptance. And so that really was what we came to the work with. And of course, the technicality of these scenes really do fall in line with a choreographed dance. Like we have our intimacy coordinators that are so integral in creating these spaces for us that are, safe and professional. And we hit our mark and we make sure that we stay within that beautiful choreographed dance.
Now, I've seen some of your other works before, but when you do a series like this and you have an integral role, what would you say you've learned from working on a series that helps you as an actress, skill set wise, moving forward?
Yes, my first series was Kings of Napa with Janine Sherman Barbois. And this actually taught me how much it's a marathon. It ain't a sprint. And so taking your artistry and moving it and moving your craft into a space where you can hit your mark, say this thing, take less time, wrap it up, and be so precision in your work, which means then that you have to have all of the details laid out for you. You have to be so detail oriented and specific and intentional about what you are portraying in that role so that when you do get in front of that camera, it is like a surgeon with a scalpel.
And for those who are not familiar with the books or the films, was it young enough or old enough, what would you say would be the ingredient for them to start watching this series? Because we have a lot going on different streamers these days.
Yes. You know what I would say is if you're not familiar and you're not already a fan of the work, if you love a good thriller drama, if you love something that keeps you guessing, if you're one of those viewers that don't like to be spoon-fed, all of the answers, this is the show for you. It will keep you guessing. It will keep you questioning also those core belief systems that you think you have and you think you know about human beings and their behavior.
Samantha, congrats on your performance. Congrats on the series. We'll see you down the road. I know there's a season 2. Let's keep that relationship going on between you and Aldis, the characters, and we'll talk down the road.
Amazing. Can't wait to see you again, Wilson. Take care. Thank you so much.
Wilson Morales from Black Film TV talking to Isaiah regarding his role in Cross. What's going on?
How you doing, Wilson?
Good. So how much did you know about Cross outside of the films and playing his character?
I mean, other than the books, there wasn't much that I knew about John Sampson, other than what I had read previously. And even what I read previously wasn't enough to give me a sense of who I'd be playing,
Mm-hmm. And so how much more research did you do in playing this character outside of what the script called for?
Well, okay, so both of us did detective research. We did ride-alongs with officers of the MPD. We visited the detective division, talked to detectives, asked them what life was like being a detective, asked them what life was like in their personal lives, being detectives, having to be, African-American detectives of the neighborhood and whatnot. But we also spent some time with a forensic psychologist who was able to kind of give us a little more insight as to the kind of the more deep feelings that detectives get working on cases that they sometimes take home with them, what that's like.
So when you're playing this character, I like to think that actors, when they take on a role, there's something within that character trait that they can relate with. How do you relate to playing John?
I think John has an enormous heart and really has his friends back. And I like to think that my heart is as big as John's. I do have my friends back. I definitely have Aldis's back, but I do have a lot of my friends back in my personal life. But there's something about Samson that it is, you can't really touch that. Like he kind of brings this love and brotherhood to their friendship that it's hard to, I haven't seen something like that on a detective show before. So something unique about it is the way he cares about his friend.
So how was working along with Aldis and establishing that chemistry that these characters have so that we, the audience, can see there's a friendship, there's a brotherhood between these two characters?
Aldis and I had a mutual respect for each other from the jump. So it was something that, it wasn't something we talked about. It wasn't something that we, sat down and like, all right, how do you want to approach this? We kind of just let things happen naturally. We didn't force the issue. I wasn't like, oh, I got to be your best friend now. I got to hang out with you. We just hung out. We got together with Ben Watkins, Blaze Watkins, Umar White, sat around, talked about life, talked about being, sons, fathers, just men living in this world and what we go through on a day-to-day basis. And I think that conversation was one of the big conversations that brought us together as castmates.
Before I let you go, I always say there's always a lot of shows on streaming right now. Whether it's streaming, cable, and you have films, what's going to get an audience to tune into this?
I think the brotherhood between Alex Cross and Samson is I think that's the heart of our show. I think when you see those two, the way they interact with each other, even when they're having hard conversations, it's something that it is endearing. You see like two people who truly care about each other. I think that bond is something that the audience is going to take away and go, I want more of this.
Congrats on the road. Congrats on the series. We'll talk down the road. We know that, John's not going to go anywhere. So let's get a season 2.
I appreciate you, Wilson. Take care now.
See ya.